Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm delighted to have you all here. My apologies for opening the call a few minutes later than scheduled. We were just going through some last-minute technical run through. So welcome to our wonderful webinar with our Masters in Disaster Management. I'm David. I'm from Tel Aviv University International. I'm delighted to have here, I'll introduce you to our panel before we begin. We have Dr. Bruria Adini, the head of the department. And in a second, Dr. Adini will present the program to you. Then we have a mini lecture on fake news by Gili Shenhar. We then have another mini lecture on disaster psychology from Dr. Moran Bodas. I'll then do a quick 5-10-minute presentation about studying at TAU and student life and housing. And then we also have an alumni, Arielle, with us, and a current student, Noah Cohen, to get his perspective. And then we'll have a Q&A session at the end. Just before we begin, a few things. We are recording this webinar, just so we can then use and send out to people afterwards. For the Q&A session, you're welcome to pop your questions into the chat function, and then we can read them off at the end. Okay, so welcome everyone. Wonderful to have you all here, and I'll hand over to Dr. Adini, who will begin her presentation.
Thank you very much, David, and I appreciate all of you being here. What we'd like to do now is try to present and actually answer questions that we know that some of you are interested in hearing about our program, the Master's Program in Disaster Management. And as David said, after this overview, we'll give you just a taste of what it's all about to be in the lessons and hear all the different challenging elements that we touch on. So we'll just give you a taste of two of those elements. So what are we talking about when we're referring and inviting you to join us in the Masters of Disaster Management? What we want to do is actually build the leadership of tomorrow, the next generations of those that will lead the emergencies that await us. And all of us could see, and we're actually living within the COVID-19 pandemic. So we now have a taste of something that can happen. Sometimes we expect it, sometimes we do not. What we need are those people that have the competencies and the expertise in preparing for all of those adversities and managing them when they actually occur. What we are striving to do, and we have many of our alumni attesting to this success, is actually allow all of those graduates to leave a mark, building the resilient populations, resilient society, resilient communities in order to save lives and mitigate any type of damage to our infrastructures and societies. And as part of the program, what we like to put at the availability of the students are diverse opportunities for both theoretical studying, practical experiences, and also the ability to continue in research as well as internships while you're here in the program. Now, I want to put us in the context of what disaster management, disaster preparedness is actually about. And this is a saying that was said many years ago by a philosopher, a Spanish philosopher that lived many years in the United States, George Santayana, which said that those who do not learn from the past are condemned to repeat it. Now, we know that each disaster that happens is different from the one that preceded it. But we have to understand and learn lessons, identify all of those insights from the different adversities that we encounter anywhere in the global community. And according to that, build the principles that can actually serve us when the unexpected actually occurs. So what are you going to actually encounter during your studies in the program, and what will be the toolbox of competencies that we provide to our students. Different competencies in the area of emergency and disaster preparedness and response, the ability to learn and to analyze the different elements that we encounter in diverse types of disasters or emergency situations. We want to promote and encourage the creative thinking, thinking out of the box, in order to be able to actually effectively tackle any type of challenge that we encounter during emergencies. We want you to be able to critically view everything that is happening, the different decisions that are being made in different countries, different societies, in the varied emergencies that they encounter, and utilize this critical thinking in trying to see, are we going about it effectively, or what should we revise and modify in order to be able to give the best response. This will lead to long-term planning and utilizing these components of understanding in order to understand what is actually occurring and what we can do in order to try to mitigate any type of lives that need and can be saved, and as I said, mitigate the damage to our infrastructures. Now, what do we do with the degree? What can you do when you are actually graduating and want to go into a career in this type of area? We can see the need for emergency coordinators and emergency managers, both in governmental organizations. It can be national governmental systems, it can be regional or local. It can be different non-governmental organizations that operate within their own nations or beyond them, providing humanitarian aid. We have emergency managers now in private firms and in high-tech companies, because the need for business continuity is so crucial during any type of emergencies. The international bodies such as the United Nations that operate in almost all countries, certainly in all continents, disaster preparedness, disaster management is an integral component of their operations. Different consultancies, and of course, those that want to continue in the academic realm and study in order to provide new knowledge, new solutions to different challenges. That is also an option that is open to our graduates. So the question is, why should you come and study in Tel Aviv University? There are many reasons, and I'll only touch upon some of them. First of all, this is for the regular track, the ones who do not continue to a thesis. It's a master's program in 1 year. It's 3 consecutive semesters. Our program is well known all over the world, and we have many collaborations with different organizations. The program is recognized by the World Health Organization as a collaborating center. One of the elements that we view as a very important part of our teaching is combining the theoretical studies with practical viewing and experiencing of the field, because we want, on the one hand, to maintain the highest scientific standards, but at the same time, we want to be very well connected to what is happening in the field, identify the challenges that practitioners have to cope with, deal with them using the research tool, the scientific knowledge, and again, provide the solutions that we can provide through the research back to the practitioners. The possibility for research and internship, as I said, is built in to the Masters of Disaster Management, so that when you complete the program, you can actually put in your CV both experience in theoretical studies and practical experiences, which is something which is very well viewed and very important to potential employers. The program includes half of the program is based on electives, so that each one can actually go to those courses that are more interested, more to your planning of the future career. When we look at the faculty, some of them you can see here with us. Gili is the academic coordinator, and you'll hear him in a few minutes in a mini lecture. Dr. Moran Bodas is the coordinator for the research, and you'll hear him too in a mini lecture concerning disaster psychology. We have, as you can see, lecturers that teach epidemiology, public policy, disaster economics. What characterizes our faculty is the fact that almost all of them have intense and very extensive experience in the field, as well as extensive experience in the academia. And thus, they can bring both the insights as practitioners and their knowledge and competencies as a researcher to the learning classroom, and thus can make the experience much richer. We have two tracks. One track, as I've said, that's a one-year program, is the regular track, which requires the students at the end of those 3 semesters to also submit a research proposal. The final project, which actually consists of 15% of the overall grade, can be submitted in varied formats. It can be a literature review, it can be a full research proposal, or it can be a research in policy promotions. And as I've said, the elective internship is actually a course which continues over 2 semesters, the first and the second semester, which can provide to those students that will choose to do the internship also practical experience in the field. The second track is the research track. The students that study in this track do their thesis in the year following the first preliminary years in which you learn all the courses. That the topic has to be, of course, relevant to emergency and disaster management or to humanitarian action, but it can be of diverse topics, again, that are attractive to the students, something that you have a passion to do. The thesis has to be completed within 1 year, 1 additional year to, as I said, the first academic year, and it's actually targeted to those students that want to go into analytical thinking, into the academic realm, those that are thinking to maybe continue their studies to a PhD. The decision of who will be accepted to the thesis track is done following the first semester. At the end of the first semester, those students that are interested in continuing to the research track have to submit their initial proposal. It's just the idea of what they want to do. Within the second semester, they receive more and more knowledge on the research itself, and by the end of the second semester, they have to submit the full proposal as well as the supervisor that they wish that will accompany in this research area. Now, in order to be eligible to take this track versus the regular track, the average scores of the first semesters have to equal 80 or above, and the 3 methodological courses, which is the research methods in epidemiology, statistics, and scientific writing, which all students study in the first semester, as a minimal grade of 80 or above in those 3 courses. Now, 40 academic credits is what is needed in order to complete the program. In the regular track, there's 20 credits of courses that are mandatory to all the students. 16 credits the students actually choose within courses, many different courses that are being offered within our program. An additional 4 credits are from any course that is provided in the university, in some of the other international programs, or in the faculty. So overall, in order to complete, there is 40 academic credits. Beyond those, there are also site visits. We visit different types of exercises and drill, and also participate in workshops such as the search and rescue workshop. Of course, if COVID-19 allows, thankfully, this year we're now starting to resume again in-campus classes and those site visits. The ones that are that will choose the research track, they have 21 credits as mandatory courses. They take less electives, 8 credits, which means 4 courses within the program, as well as 4 more credits, 2 courses from any other program in the university. And the thesis itself allows them to earn the additional 7 credits. And of course, the participation in the workshop and the site visit is similar, is joined to the regular tracks. You can see here some of the sample courses, and you can, of course, also see it in our website. There's a diverse offering of different courses, and that's why, as actually half of the studying, the students can choose according to those subjects or those topics that are closer to their hearts. You can see disaster psychology, risk communication. We'll see, as I've said, a small taste of those courses just in a few minutes. Now, what are the admission requirements? There's diverse backgrounds that the students can come, and of course different types of bachelor's degree. This is a multidisciplinary program because we believe that in order to be effective in managing any type of adversity, what we need is to understand the logistics, the risk communication, the legal aspect, the sociological aspect, the risk communication, and so on. And so there's a diversity upon the courses. There's a diversity among the backgrounds of the graduates, of the students. And thus you can see that we accept from different academic backgrounds, but it has to be from a average score, a grade of 80 or above. All the candidates that are eligible, which means that they have at least this grade, will be invited to an interview, and following the interview, the decision will be made concerning their eligibility to be accepted to the program. You can find our graduates in diverse positions, in diverse organizations all over the world. You can see just a fraction of them. We have several students working in FEMA. We have many that work in different non-governmental organizations. We have those that work in industrial or high-tech industries or in governmental agencies. And of course, the private sector is more and more becoming aware of the need to prepare for a different type of crisis in order to maintain their business continuity in any type of crisis or adversities. So the one thing that is also an attraction above and beyond the academic studies themselves is different types of activities on the campus. Tel Aviv is actually a nickname of the city that never sleeps, and the campus itself very nicely also reflects this. There are many different activities on campus, of course, only when COVID allows. And this is something that is, again, an integral part of the experience of coming to live in Tel Aviv and study in the university. So I'd like to thank you for listening to this overview. And what I'd like to do now, we'll have the questions a bit later. I would like to invite Gili, who is the academic coordinator of the program and actually delivers several of the courses, to speak to us now about fake news. Gili, please.
Can you hear me? You see the
Yes.
slides?
We can see the slides and hear you well.
It was fake news that I'm going to speak about the fake news, but let's go in. So I would like to start with what the Director General of the WHO said in the beginning of the COVID. And he said to fight against the rumors and the misinformation is a vital part of the battle against the virus. And this is something that is very crucial and important, not only today, but also for the future. So we can see that today, these are the current numbers from the beginning of this year. You can see the number of people who are living in the world. You can see how many, around 66%, 67% has already mobile phones in their hands. More than 60% are connected to the internet, and more than 50% are using the new media. So the numbers are rising from year to year. The major places which we saw the disinformation in the COVID-19 was basically using, first of all, the social media. This is the place that we found the most of that. But these are the major things that we found. First of all, these are the conspiracy theories, all kinds of theories I will show in a second, that are trying to address the public and telling them all kinds of stories that, of course, are not true. All kinds of cure claims, telling people how they can cure themselves, of course, with disinformation. Many things regarding the vaccine, and it becomes more and more available these days. Many things were written about the personal protective kits, the PPEs, and all kinds of things about the mask, which we found a lot in the media. And the last part was the rate cases, how many people lost their life. In the beginning, the numbers were many stories were with disinformation. And the misinformation, we can say that is spreading like a wildfire. So we can see here an example for one of the theories. So many theories were regarding, for example, that the 5G, of the phones is doing this, bringing us the COVID-19, or that the COVID-19 started in an accident in a lab in China. All of that, of course, is not true. Regarding an example for medical treatment, so even in the United States, people were addressed to drink bleach. Of course, it will kill the corona, but it also will kill the person that drinks it. So, of course, it was a disinformation. And regarding regarding the vaccine that we are seeing today, so there were many things that were published to the public. All of them, of course, is disinformation. Like the vaccine is not safe because it was produced in a very rapid way, or if you will get the vaccine, you will become ill, or it has a lot of side effects, which we know today is not true. That if you get this vaccine, the government can now know exactly where you are. It has a small chip inside, and then now we can know exactly where you are. Regarding long effects, long-term effects, of course, we don't know everything, but many things that were wrong were published to the public. Regarding the DNA that will be changed by getting this vaccine, and many more that you can see over here. So many rumors and disinformation were published to the public. So the major problem is that most of the times the disinformation is not black and white. It's in the middle. They take a part which is true and put many things that are not true. And it makes a problem for the people to understand what is the truth. So how can we solve it? And I'm running very rapidly because I have a very short time. So the most important part, and this is the most, I think, important word that we have in risk communication also, is building trust. If the public will trust the government, they will trust the health ministry, etc., they will take the information that they give and not look for information for other resources. Another solution could be by educating the people how to evaluate, how to check whether the information is true or wrong, by monitoring, first of all, the new media to see if there are rumors and to kill them when they are small. Legislation in many countries that's saying, if you will publish it, we can do something and even arrest you in some countries. Working with big companies like Facebook, Twitter, etc., in order to find these disinformation and to kill it. Of course, to be rapid, to be relevant, and to be accurate. If you don't work fast, if you don't publish the information, the people will look for other resources. So just small examples, and we will sum up. So this is an example that WHO has published to the public. In the beginning, they said, if you will eat garlic, and some people likes the garlic, so you will be healthy. So maybe it's good to eat garlic, but of course, it won't cure you from COVID-19. And they published many more information regarding, you can see here the 5G, regarding the bleach, etc. A lot of information has been available to the public. And this is just one example from all the things that I told before. And another education for the public that we can see here for ending my presentation. So we must educate also the public to know when it's suspicious and not to send all the information to other people. And it's now the time really to fight together against the fake news, disinformation, misinformation. And if you have more questions, we would be glad to answer in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gili. And following the fake news, I want to take you to another type of mini lecture. I'd like to invite Dr. Moran Bodas that will talk to us about disaster psychology.
Hello, everybody. My name is Moran. I'm a senior staff member with the program, and I will talk to you today about disaster psychology, specifically about COVID-19. As well, it will correspond very nicely with the presentation you just heard. To give you the gist, if you're the kind of person who just want to get to the bottom line, the premise of the disaster psychology course is that without understanding people, all of our plans are doomed to fail. It's just the way it is. If you've been going around about this year thinking, why is everything failing around? Why all of these plans, mighty plans that have been prepared for a global pandemic, just cannot deliver in terms of saving us from the disease? It's because we don't understand the client. The client is people. If we don't understand people, if we don't understand the way people behave, the way they react to disastrous cues, we can plan as much as we want, but it will just fail time and time again. The research that is being done with regards to behavioral models of emergency behavior are really robust. You can see here one model from 2013, which has already been further developed. We really understand the correlates and the variables that are affecting people's behavior. But I would like to draw your attention to the bottom part of this chart over here, which the authors just used uncertainty to provide an excuse for whenever these models don't work. And the sad thing is that these models usually don't work because we just fail to understand the complexity. We fail to understand the way people behave and react to disaster rescues and the way they react during emergencies and disasters. And if we don't understand this in advance, we will never be able to cope with disasters and emergencies. We need to understand all of the players, all of the stakeholders in this situation. The decision makers on one hand, which we shouldn't envy them. They have really hard decisions to make, a lot of responsibility and accountability on their part, making decisions as they go along with a lot of uncertainty along the way. And there's also the media on the other side, which we like to think are the democratic watchdog. They're supposed to be the ones who are providing us with the information so we know what there is to know out there, but sometimes they have their own interests. And they can promote fake news, as was discussed before, and essentially they need to sell commercials. So they will take whatever is happening out there and will make it disproportionate or have the biggest headline there could be, which doesn't necessarily reflect the way the situation is. And in the middle are is the population, who have different ways of perceiving the risk, being aware of the risk, and of course, behaving as a result of this. So let me dive in a little bit into the COVID-19 crisis. I'll be speaking about the situation in Israel, but if you are finding some similarities with the situation in your own countries, that wouldn't be a surprise. In the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak, this threat was perceived by many people as an existential threat, nothing short of that, because it's a new disease. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows exactly how it attacks. There was a lot of uncertainty involved in this. No vaccine, no treatment. So in essence, an existential threat. The problem was that the decision by many leaders was to use fear appeal as the strategy for getting people to behave in a certain way, to comply with health regulations. If you think about it, using fear appeal is a very, very good method when you are in the beginning of an existential threat and you want to get obedience, because people are afraid. When they are afraid, they turn to the basic thinking, they look up to the leadership and they say, save us from this threat. And they will be able to cope with even some jeopardy or some reducing of their human rights in order to gain the benefit of surviving, right? The thing is with this strategy is that it's short-lived. Once the fog of war is dissipating and once people start to compare between doomsday scenario they've been scared with and reality, that's when they begin to distrust the government. That's when they begin to lose faith in the decisions and the health regulation. That's where everything crumbles, right? And on top of that, the risk communication was really confused with conflicting messages, lack of coherence of those messages, and especially the selective enforcement of some sectors being experiencing more enforcement of the health regulations than other. You get what we call unwanted behavior, right? Which is referred by the government as lack of discipline, but it's actually not lack of discipline. It's non-rational behavior resulting from non-rational management of the situation. And I want to focus a little bit on fear appeal. I want to show you two videos, two risk communication campaigns that were ran here in Israel. And I want the first one to show you the fear appeal tactic, and the second one, which I argue is a much better way of doing risk communication. Take a look at the first one. despite the positive ending and together we will defeat the corona, the entire message here is intended for frightening people, right? All this red coloring and the dramatic music. We need to understand the way people react to this, especially when they are already afraid, right? When they're already afraid and they're being more intimidated, at the beginning it will work, but then you will for surely lose trust. And there's another way of doing stuff. There's another way of making sure that people react to your messages in a way that actually promotes wanted behavior. Let me show you another risk communication campaign. This one was done by the Homefront Command, the civil protection agency in Israel, and was targeting truth-telling in epidemiological questioning of people that have been confirmed with COVID-19. They wanted to increase the rate of people reporting with whom they've been in contact, right? To protect those other people. Take a look.
רק שתדעו שאני רוצה לדעת.
תכלס גם אני. כולם פה.
אני חייבת לדעת.
אנחנו באמת צריכים לדעת.
זה לא רק בשבילי, זה גם בשבילו.
מגיע להם לדעת. אובחנתם כמאומתים לקורונה? בתשאול האפידמיולוגי הקפידו למסור פרטים מלאים על האנשים שפגשתם, ויחד נקטע את שרשרת ההדבקה. עוד פרטים בפורטל החירום הלאומי ובמוקד הטלפוני 104.
Okay, so even with the basic packaging here, the music is much more optimistic, the color palette is much more bright, but the message is normative. Instead of the norm being don't snitch on whoever you've been in contact with because you doomed them for self-quarantine, right? The message here is that the norm should be you need to tell us who you've been in contact with because they deserve to know. They deserve to know and they deserve to protect themselves and their families. And this worked. If you look at the percentage of people not reporting being or reporting being in no contact with anyone, that dropped from 23% to 2% following this campaign. So there is a way of doing things right. To wrap up, I just want to talk about public trust, because when you lose public trust, you lose everything. It's very difficult to manage a crowd when you don't have the trust. Here you have data that we've been collecting throughout the COVID-19 crisis, broken down into the different sectors of the Israeli society, the general sector, the ultra-Orthodox, and the non-Jewish, mainly the Arab. And what is most striking about this is that over time, you see this L shape, right? The trust goes really way up in March, which is the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak here in Israel. Okay, so people are afraid, they are very attentive, they will do whatever you say, so trust goes up and they are very attentive. And the first lockdown was a real success. Nobody was walking the streets if they didn't have to, right? But then take a look at this dramatic fall in August and the way it's failing to pick up again even a year after the beginning of COVID-19. And if you want to take a look at how it's the way it is presented with people, it's this. I chose this picture. So this is a picture of a store here in Israel, and the person picked up a sign saying, I am a law-abiding person, but I've decided to become a felon in order to survive, which means they now need to face not only the threat of the virus, but also the threat of the broken economy, right? The failing economy. And when you put people in a situation where they need to choose between surviving an epidemic and surviving the economy, if you lost their trust, that's the way it looks. That's exactly the way it looks. And we can say the same about the vaccines, whether or not people will be willing to take the vaccine, how much fake news will revolve around the vaccine, etc., etc. All of this is a lost battle when you lose trust. That goes back to what Bruria said before. Those who do not learn from the past are condemned to repeat this. This is my email address if you have any more questions. Those of you who want can scan now the QR barcode to get access to a YouTube video explaining more about disaster psychology. It was just a sneak peek into the course. Noah, don't tell the other students that you've already learned something from the course. Okay? Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Moran. And so now you got a glimpse into two topics that are discussed in the program. And of course, there are many, many more. I want now, I'm sure you also have questions concerning logistics and administrative details and so on. So I would like to invite David to talk to us about the life in TAU and the different elements that it consists of.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bruria. And also thank you, Moran and Gili, for your wonderful presentations. I think we'll be talking about this, I think, for years to come. And we are living through, I think, time that people will study 50, 100 years from now. So just something positive that we're going through. I've got a presentation I'm going to go through. I'll talk to you a little bit about TAU and what awaits here for you, a bit about student life and housing as well. So let me begin. Cool. Can you all see the presentation?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So welcome to Tel Aviv University. This is a nice sort of bird's eye view of what awaits for you here. We have an all-in-one campus. Our campus is vast. It's 220 acres in total. We have 125 schools, 9 faculties, each with their own building, their own libraries. We have 30,000 total students and 2,000 plus international students that come to us every year. And that gives you access to the best of both worlds, because you can also mix and mingle with Israelis as well as other internationals. We have 130 research institutions. We're always a ranked top 100 innovation university by Reuters. It's a diverse campus where you'll make friends and network with people from all over the world. Here's just a sort of brief snapshot of some leading alumni that you could join. I won't go into all details. I'll pick out a couple. Yotam Ottolenghi, I think there's some people here from the UK. I think Yotam is more famous in the UK than in Israel, but he's a very famous chef and author with a couple of great restaurants in the UK and a couple of good books. Adi Soferteni, she's the general manager of Facebook. She has a BA in law from us and also an MBA. And I think she has Mark Zuckerberg on speed dial. We have Dr. Danny Gold. He gave us the Iron Dome, that wonderful piece of technology that keeps us all safe. Uri Levine, he was the founder of Waze. I don't think anybody in Israel goes anywhere without using Waze. He was a co-founder of Waze that he sold back in 2013 to Google for over $1 billion. So when you do come to TAU, you do join an illustrious group of alumni that are making waves in various fields. We're the place to identify and nurture and transform ideas and innovation into action. We're very close to the industry through the remote, TAU Ventures, the Entrepreneurship Center that's on campus and staffed with professionals from the industry. We have also the annual Cyber Week and Artificial Intelligence Week that happens alternatively on campus every year. It was virtual last year, but normally when it happens on campus, the entire campus transforms. We have about 10,000 attendees throughout the entire week from over 80 countries. And just going back to Buria's point about the campus awaits you, it really does. Now in campus, things are opening up. Students are coming back. Our campus is coming back to life. And it's a great thing to see. And if you come here, you'll see a great campus. Like I said, it's 220 acres. So everything is here. There's lots of green spots for you to find your own little spot to study, to have some quiet time on your own. Student life team. if there's one thing I want you to take away from our webinar tonight, in addition to the academic excellence of the program, it's our student life team. They are our best feature, I think, and the greatest resource that we have. And what they are is they're a team of madrachim. That's the Hebrew word for it. In English, I think we say guide or counselor. And they're your first point of contact. So they're actually here on arrival day. So once you arrive into Israel, you make your way to the dorms. They're there to welcome you to Israel and to the dorms, to make sure you settle in okay. They immediately on the first day or the second day, they do orientation and getting to know people. They've done pizza nights in the dorms, other social activities to introduce everyone to Israel and to introduce themselves to you. So it's great for you as an international student. When you come to us, you're not coming to a foreign country. You're coming, it's like a soft landing. You come in and it's a family atmosphere. They'll take you on board. They do all of these social activities. Normally, sort of pre-COVID, they used to do trips all over the country, up to the north, down to the south, trips to Eilat, to the desert. And they also have done lots of events on Zoom over the past year as well. They've done Eurovision singing contest recently, talks about the election, quiz nights. We had students that came to us last year that had to do quarantine in the dorms, and they were doing events on Zoom with everyone every single day. Cooking lessons and just making sure everyone's okay, especially those that are doing quarantine. Like I said, they're all Israelis. They're all post-army service. So they've all done their army service and they're all studying here at TAU a Hebrew degree, a mixture of undergraduates and graduates. There's one of them in our office here in the Carter building on shift every day. And they also live in the dorms with you as well. So they're there available 24/7. And they really are, I think, one of our best resources that we have. Okay, accommodation. We have dorms. We say on campus, they're actually literally adjacent to campus. We have 2 dorm complexes. We have the Einstein dorms, which are literally just opposite campus. And that tends to be more for sort of undergraduate students. And then we have the Broshim dorms, these are the pictures of the Broshim dorms. They're about just 10 minutes walk from campus. And they're new. They are generally single rooms or studio or 2-3 bedroom apartments that share a kitchen. And that's where most of our master's students tend to go. This year, what we normally did, as I said, we'd normally put sort of undergraduate in Einstein and graduate students in the Broshim, but we are giving students the choice this year to pick which dorm they would like to go into. We don't offer a meal plan, and I don't think we need to because all of our dorms have kitchenettes. The bills are from $600 to $800 per month. They include bills, electricity, water, Arnona, which is council tax, and Wi-Fi as well. Like I said, we don't offer meal plans, but one of the benefits of living in Israel is the amazing food here. It really is. It's wonderful. You can buy fresh food, fresh vegetables, relatively cheaply. There's lots of places to eat in Tel Aviv. I think, the street food in Tel Aviv is amazing. The BBC Good Food book last year ranked Tel Aviv in their top 10 list of best street food in the world. So it really is amazing. Again, tuition includes health insurance and there's medical clinics close to campus. So yeah, I'll just end with this just to say if we have students that come to us for study abroad, which is undergraduates. We also do short-term programs, undergraduate programs, master's degrees, doctoral programs and PhDs. So students really can matriculate their way throughout all levels of their education. And thank you very much. I hope that's given you a nice sort of taste of what awaits you here at Tel Aviv University. And this is a nice picture I like to end with because you can see the beach there. If you've been to Tel Aviv, you'll know it's a pulsating city. It's a very safe city as well. You know, your personal safety and security here is, you know, is miles better than any other major capital city. And it's a great cultural city. There's lots of things to do, amazing places to eat, great bars, great restaurants. People here are very, very friendly. Everyone here speaks fluent English. So don't worry. One of the questions I always get asked is I don't speak Hebrew. You don't need it as a student to come. It would be great if you could learn a bit while you're here, but you don't need it for living in Tel Aviv and exploring Israel. And that's me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David, for filling in concerning what it means to be in TAU and in Tel Aviv as a city. I want to tell you two things before we have two more speakers. First of all, that you've met some of our staff, but I also want you to meet Gabi. Gabi is our administrative coordinator. She's the one that is in the first contact with the students, and I think all of you will find that she's also very cooperative, very eager to help, a fountain of knowledge. So thank you, Gabi, for everything that you do, including, of course, for coordinating this open day webinar. The other important message is that we believe that the responsibility for the learning process in our program is a joint responsibility of the faculty and the students. So that means if any of you are expecting just to come and hear lectures, like we've been doing up to now, and just write everything down and come to the examinations and put all that knowledge out there, that's not the program that we are actually running. We think that the knowledge, the competencies, the perspectives, the background, the experiences, the insights that the students bring with them is as important and is a crucial part of actually enriching the learning process. And towards that end, it means that the students are very much involved in the learning process itself. We wanted to also share with you some of these insights by now exposing you to one of our graduates and then one of our current students. So the first one will be Arielle, who completed the program last year. And Arielle, I'd like to invite you now. The screen is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Arielle Kaim. I'm originally from the United States, and I completed my undergraduate studies in 2019 from Boston University. I then, as Bruria had just mentioned, went on to graduate from the faculty in the 2019-2020 cohort, and can most certainly attest to the breadth of knowledge and to the various incredible experiences that you will encounter during your time with the faculty and your time at the university. Aside from incredible experiences in Tel Aviv, I think that the opportunities that are provided throughout the program, as Bruria had mentioned, for example, the research opportunities and the internship opportunities are what make this program so special. It's not every day and it's not in every program that you have the opportunity to really delve deep and get your hands dirty in what it is that you're studying. And this was something that for me was remarkable about my time, I would say, at the university and specifically with this faculty. I want to share with you from an alumni perspective what your future road might look like. This is just one example of something that your studies might culminate in. But right now, I'm currently a researcher, thanks to the opportunities that I took advantage of during my studies with Dr. Bruria Adini. During my time with the faculty, I went on to become a researcher at the Gertner Institute, which is Israel's National Epidemiology and Health Policy Research Center. And I'm a researcher there actually under Dr. Moran Bodas, who you just heard speak on the disaster psychology course, and also a researcher under Dr. Bruria Adini at the university. And these opportunities that I was able to take advantage of, they really shaped my future direction. So what I want to point to with this is that as much as you put into the program is exactly what you're going to take out of it. And I really, as I said, try to delve deep and really to pull theory into practice, which is the motto of the program, and really to go full on throughout this time and throughout my studies. And I will say that my life right now looks, I work on many different research projects, both at the university and at the Gertner Institute. And this provides me the opportunity to collaborate with many different academic institutions, with many different researchers and professors. And it's a very fascinating time, especially right now, for me personally during COVID. And I would be happy to answer any additional questions about what my life looks like. If someone would like to reach out, I will be happy to provide my email after in the chat. But yeah, if it's definitely a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of, and you will receive wonderful mentorship and wonderful friends and wonderful experiences that I hope you will take advantage of given the opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Arielle. And I have to say that it's a pleasure to have first being your mentor and now being your co-worker while you joined the team. So we're all very proud of you. And now the last speaker, and then you'll be able to ask all your questions, is Noah. Noah is currently studying in the program. So Noah, the screen is yours.
Thank you. So first of all, it seems like yesterday that I was in the audience of this talk and I was listening to the speakers and I was thinking, am I going to do this? It's a big move. It's a pandemic. Should I do it? And I have to say that, well, obviously I did do it and I'm really, really happy I did. And now I'm going to try to convince you why you should too. So the first thing, which is something that a previous alumni told me in this talk last year, was choice. And I'm somebody who needs a lot of choice. I'm somebody who's very dissatisfied with just looking at one thing at a time. And I think the biggest strength of this program is its flexibility. Whether you're interested in disaster psychology, crisis communication, global warming, humanitarian action, whether you want to work for governments, whether you want to do research, any track that you want to do, if you're somebody who's very outgoing and you want to be on the ground in disaster zones, or if you're somebody who's more looking for more of an office job, whatever your interests are, whatever your values are, you can find something in this field and you can find something in this program. So that is one of the really big advantages. I mean, I'm still thinking of more like cyber, public health, so many options. Another really big advantage of this program is the class size. So our class size this year is about 25, and I think that's actually considered a little bit on the bigger side. The program really believes that having a smaller class size can facilitate interactions with the other students, can facilitate interactions with the professors, and I really, really do feel that. You know, I in my bachelor's degree, I was doing courses with 600 students at a time, very difficult. And you would think that it's easier to make friends, well, when you have 600 people, right? That's 600 people to choose from. I actually think it was much easier and I made friends much more quickly here. And that's a really big part. And from day one, the first thing that we did in this program was we had a team building course where we got to know each other. And from there, that's where I made my friends. And I know that it's a master's program and it's about academics, but friendships are really, really important and they lead to professional collaborations as well. So that's another thing. And we've had, even with COVID, we've had Zoom study groups. We've done many things. It didn't hinder our communication. The third note is the faculty. And I'm not just saying that because 3 of them are in the Zoom. The faculty are not only experts in their field, but they're passionate about teaching and they're passionate about conveying their interests to the students. I've had many meetings with the faculty. I send them all kinds of crazy emails with my theories and ideas. They're really open to communication, and it's really nice. It's really nice to be able to talk to professors and to get guidance from them. Yeah, so really great social interactions with the students and with the professors. So, I mean, we talked about all the academics, but I really, as a current student, I want to emphasize how great it is socially. And like it's been said before, the group is very diverse, not just in where people come from, but in their previous job experiences, in their interests. And it really is a great opportunity to open your mind to other experiences, to other people. And so that's about the program. In general, this is a really exciting field. Like I said, there's so many directions that you can go with it. But generally, if you feel frustrated when you see things going on in the world, when you see natural disasters, when you see pandemics, you feel frustrated. You think that things are not being managed properly. You think you have ideas. You think you could do better. Get involved. Do a master's degree, get some experience, and make a change. And if you do decide to join the program, I have one tip, as Bruria mentioned: don't be passive. Be active. Don't just attend classes. Get involved. Go to conferences. Do the internship. I think that there's a big disaster preparedness conference that happens every 2 years. So you'll be really lucky that you'll get to do that if you join the cohort, because I think it's scheduled for 2022. So you're actually joining in a really good year. And yeah, just have fun. And whatever you decide to do, good luck. And I'm leaving my email in the chat. If you have any questions at all about the program, about Israel, whatever it is, you can send me an email and we can meet. So that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Noah. It's always wonderful to hear from someone who is actually in the chair of the students. So thank you. And now we're open to any questions that any of you may have. I think David opened your mics, and you can also open your video. So you're invited to ask either through the chat or in person. Just raise your hand, and we'll give you the right of order to raise a question. Who would like to go first?
Everyone has the ability. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Amir, please go ahead.
Yes, hello everyone. I have one question regarding the class schedule or the days of the week that we need to attend class. Do you know which days or how many days is it per week so far?
Yes, it's going to be 3 days per week. The days are Monday, Thursdays, and Friday. And those of you that will choose also to do the elective internships will have one more additional day of your choice from the days that we're not on campus. Any other questions?
There was one just came in on the chat from, I can't see the name. It said, hello, I was wondering why this course was renamed as M.DM from MPH. Have the courses within the program been altered as well?
The answer is, first of all, yes. They haven't been altered. The ones that were provided before are going to continue, but we've added many electives. The reason is that for the past 4 years, we've been working with the High Council of Education in Israel to actually get approval for this new program. We wanted the MPH program has been running since 2006, but the knowledge of so many different and diverse areas were just kept going and growing, and we wanted to be able to provide many more courses, many more areas of knowledge and so on, because we understand that disaster management is something unique. It's not just part of public health. It's certainly a component, but it has so many areas that we want to actually look at in depth, that we wanted a unique program that will go beyond what we were able to provide the students as part of the MPH. So it took us 4 years to do everything that was needed. As we said, we imported all the courses that were there before, but we added the possibility of internships. So now the diversity and the ability of choice is much, much more expansive. We added as built in the ability to do a thesis. There wasn't such a possibility before that. And we added also the possibility for you to be more flexible, more able to decide on which directions you want to take it. So the 3 elements of the internships, the thesis track, and of course the ability of choosing both to experience in the field and in the electives in the classroom, those were the main changes that we implemented. And we were able to do so only after the approval of the High Council of Education. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I was wondering, is the program also open to those who are dual citizens, or specifically to those who don't have Israeli citizenship?
No, the program is open to any citizenship.
Okay.
It can be dual or it's also open. We have many students that don't have Israeli citizenship at all.
Okay.
Any additional element that anyone would like to raise?
I think before.
Hi.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Corey, go ahead.
No worries. Sorry, my name is Corey Olszewski, and I live in the United States in Texas. And I'm interested in the program, but I'm also wondering what it would be like in terms of bringing my family over with me. I have 2 kids, my wife as well. So what options would there be to maybe live near campus, but not in the dorms?
Okay.
David, would you like to answer that?
I can. First of all, you can actually, we do have families that come and stay in the dorms. That's an option for you. But if not, we are in sort of north central Tel Aviv. We are surrounded by a residential area. So it wouldn't be a problem for you to find private rented accommodation here. And also our student life team, whilst they don't actually help you, they can sort of point you in the right direction of some resources that you should look into if you're looking to rent privately. What I'll do is I'll put my email address down here for you, Corey. If you just send me an email, I can pass it on to our student life team and I can get them to reply to you.
David, could you also relate to Michael's question concerning scholarships?
Yes, thank you. I noticed a couple of people said that beforehand on the registration form. We do have a couple of scholarships. I'll put a link in the chat to our scholarship page as well. There was one that just closed about a week ago. It's not actually our scholarship. It's the MFA, and the MFA is the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I do recommend, the deadline was the 19th of March. I don't know how flexible they are with that. It is worth checking it out anyway, and if you have the time, by all means, you should reach out to them as well, because they might be flexible with that. And it's quite a good scholarship. It disappeared a couple of years ago, but it came back this year for the first time in I think 3 years. And it's quite a substantial scholarship. I'll put our link here. The other scholarship source of funding is MASA, which may not be relevant to everyone. But if it is, that's also a very good source you should look into. We are hopefully, I can't confirm it yet, but we are hopefully going to launch a new scholarship just after the Passover break for next academic year. We're calling the COVID Fund, specifically for degree programs. But I don't know any more than that yet. And I'll hopefully, we'll publish it all online after Pesach, so sometime in the middle of April. So as long as you're following we'll put it on our social media as well. It will be there. So do keep following us there and check our website as well. And if you come from LATAM countries, you should also look into the PSAIA scholarship. That's a very good one. Yeah.
I want to add to that one additional change that was made when we transferred from MPH to the M.DM is it's not only the approval of the Higher Council of Education, but they actually pay to the university a similar tuition as the student, which meant that the tuition dropped substantially. So next year, it's going to be more or less something like $10,500, which is several thousands of dollars less than the tuition of this year. So this was another welcome addition. And as David mentioned, the COVID fund, I want to update you concerning something else that we do concerning the COVID. This is something that we started last summer during the midst of the COVID pandemic, and we're continuing this year too. It's a 6 weeks course, which focuses on COVID-19, specifically on looking at COVID from crisis to opportunity, which means that we look into the lessons learned, but also how it will impact our future in the varied areas. It gives you insight into the medical systems and consequences, the economic one, the political one, the technological one, education, and so on. It's open to any candidate from worldwide. But those of you that will register to the program, the cost of this course will be deducted from the tuition, so that it will actually, it's a course that is open, and if you take it, then you will have two academic credits that you can use in order to study in the program. Is Pesach Fund Scholarship accepting applications? David, can you answer that?
Tamir, I believe so. Where are you from? Okay, he's on mute. I believe so, unless you've heard differently.
Honduras.
Okay, so you're LATAM. What I'll do is I'll put out the email address of our LATAM coordinator in Brazil, Andre, and you should reach out to him because he'll have much more up-to-date information. He might know something that's not been officially communicated. So I'll pop his email address in the chat for you, and you can reach out to him. Let me just write it.
Thank you, David. Any additional questions, anyone? No? Okay. Then I would like to, first of all...
Bruria, sorry, there's another question in chat.
Oh, okay. Did you read it, and do you want to relate to that, Moran?
No, I hadn't had the time to read it. Since each university has a different criteria for making their student in the exam thesis, is the 80% grade a hard and a fast requirement for admission, or is there a consideration for the university a student is coming from? I imagine this question refers to the application criteria, right?
The response is that the 80% minimum is a criteria. We are allowed a certain very limited amount of students that have an average of less than that, of between 75 to 80, pending, of course, the specific approval of the university authority. So if any of you have between 75 to 80 and you want to apply, this will, of course, necessitate specific inquiry on our part after we understand your background, what you studied, where you come from, and so on. But less than 75, it's not even worth it to apply because there's no possibility for us to accept. Anyone would like to post or ask any other questions?
There was a question from Vanessa about student visa. I'll pop on here, Vanessa, a link to some visa information on our website that should be easy enough to digest. Thank you.
Okay, then I would like, first of all, to thank all our speakers, our faculty, our students, Arielle, which is now part of both our staff and alumni. Thank you, David and Gabby, for arranging this. Thank you, all the participants that are interested in studying in the program. I want to tell all of you, regardless if you study in our program, in other programs, or even other areas, I hope you always remember that disaster management is actually part of our lives, and being prepared for any crisis that may happen is something that is a vital part of our being, a component of these humane settings and our solidarity with one another. So I urge all of you to contribute in whatever way you have for the resilience of all of our societies. Thank you, everyone. If you're celebrating Passover, then happy Passover. If you're celebrating Easter, then happy Easter. Ramadan is coming up. If you're celebrating Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem. May we all be resilient, healthy, and productive in whatever directions we take. So bye, everyone, and have a safe and very happy weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good luck, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Illyri, did all our participants leave?
Yep, they've all gone.